most people in the world still don't have a good wheelchair. Most people who need one don't have a wheelchair at all. But just as important, once they get one, it's not a great wheelchair. And in fact, people in the 80% of the world that doesn't have the money need not just a wheelchair. They need the best of wheelchairs because they have the worst of conditions, the most rough roads and unpaved pathways they have to follow to get actually to their house.
Following a motorcycle accident in his junior year at Oberlin University in 1966, Ralf became a paraplegic. He is a 1969 graduate of Oberlin College. Ralf is the co-founder of the revolutionary Whirlwind International, a group dedicated to improving the lives of disabled people in the developing world. The organization's mission is to make it possible for every person in the developing world who needs a wheelchair to obtain one. That will lead to maximum personal independence and integration into society. Since the 1980s, Ralf has worked as a wheelchair designer, designing new and innovative wheelchairs. He was a 1989 MacArthur Foundation Fellow and has received countless other awards and honors.
You have a chair that you can go around the world with. You don't have to have a credit card to call California for repair parts. You don't have to have a lot of money in your account to pay for the shipping. You just go to the local bicycle shop or blacksmith, and they can make virtually any part of this chair locally while you wait. So if you're crossing Uganda, Tanzania, and your chair falls off the roof of the bus, yes, it happens all the time. You can go in virtually any medium-sized town and find one or more blacksmiths, bicycle shops where they do real repairs. They don't just change parts like most American bike shops, but they'll cut and weld your frame, bicycle or wheelchair, and they'll get tubing off broken restaurant chairs, for example, or wherever they can find tubing, bend it, weld it, and send you back on the road.
Those donor chairs that eventually, over the course of a couple years, then are unable to be repaired.
It's a terrible problem. I mean, just think about, so you get a wheelchair and you go back to school. Maybe you're 20 years old and you're in 5th grade because you've been kept out of school by lack of mobility for so long. Now you go to school for a semester or two and your chair falls apart. What do you do? Reminds me of a woman in Ethiopia. She was 17. She was in 3rd grade. She had gone back to school. She got only 1 semester into school, even less than that, when her front wheels fell apart. They were plastic front wheels.
Oh, gosh.
And so we tried to make her new wheels out of wood. Unfortunately, the deforestation had happened so badly in Ethiopia, we couldn't find a 4-inch diameter tree trunk to make her wheel out of. Eventually, she cut a log out of the corner of her grandmother's house, where the logs go together at the corner, sliced it off, and we made front wheels out of that.
What do you mean by the right to travel?
In trains and steamships 100 years ago, there was no real access, but they would somehow get you on board. And the same is true today in the trains in Kenya or Uganda. All up and down East Africa, there are trains, and in lots of other parts of the world. All over India, there are trains. There's no real access, but they just don't assume that you're not going to ride because you have a disability. they figure out how to make it work. And that's the responsibility of the train people. And passersby tend to believe that if they can help, they should. And so if you start with that right and then work backwards, access comes in little bits along the way. Most of the Greyhound riding I have done, I've just sat on the front seat. While they're arguing about how they're going to keep me off the bus, I just sit on the front seat or on the front stairs and get somebody to lift my ankles as I lift myself up step, step, step. I get help, but it's usually not from the bus people. Once I was traveling with my 4-month-old son, and in Sacramento, California, they said, no, we can't ride. You have to have your own attendant. I said, I do. He's this little guy here right in my lap. And the irate manager of the bus station went to get the police. I held my Oshkosh straps of my son in my teeth, slid up the stairs, got help transferring up into the seat. When they came back there, I was ready to go in the bus. And,
wow.
And so, luckily, the policeman who came to throw me off the bus was a black policeman. And I said, sir, should I sit in the back seat? Most of the Greyhound riding I have done, I've just sat on the front seat. While they're arguing about how they're going to keep me off the bus, I just sit on the front seat or on the front stairs. As a general rule, the poorer the country it is, the better the access is. When I think about all of my friends in the United States, I can only visit about 5% of them in their houses. The rest of them have too many stairs to get to their house or too much of a slope to get to their front door. Whereas in Nicaragua, in Tanzania, the majority of my friends are visitable because their houses initially had a dirt floor. Maybe they still have a dirt floor, or maybe they've gone high tech and put in concrete or stones in their floor. But in the process, they didn't raise their house way up. I've been around for a while, long enough that I've seen some of my friends, including myself, have some trouble with blood pressure, with blood circulation, and staying fit, exercising all the time, exercising regularly, every day some, and several times a week, a lot, is the only, well, it's not the only, our diet is also really important. Diet and exercise are the best ways we have to protect ourselves from having those problems. My folks, my parents are both 94, and they're doing just fine because they exercise every day. First, just be there. Be in all parts of your society. Go there, even if you know it's not accessible. Make sure that you have access to housing, public transportation, schooling, and jobs. Those four. If you have access to all of those four somehow, and even in this country, we don't really have that yet. We're still working. Then you'll do